It can be hard finding good guys out there, okay? And not just good guys who actually mean well and want the same things you do, but also recognizing value in men. Now, a lot of the time, a lot of women will use, what he has as to whether he's a man of value, whether he has his own house, whether he drives a nice car, what job he does. The classic thing of when you tell your girlfriends about a new guy you started to date, what's the first thing they ask? Oh, what does he do? Is he a man who can bring value to the world? Now, sometimes while these can be a good indicator whether he's bringing some kind of value to the world in some way and that he's got value himself, that's not always the best way to completely judge a guy and the value that he brings. Equally, you may not be able to find these things out as quickly as you'd like to about a guy, so we have to know other ways to recognize a guy who has good value. Because the last thing you would want is to meet a guy who has great value, but then things end too quickly or you call things off too soon, and you didn't actually give it a chance because actually he does bring some really great things to the table for what you're looking for. Well, I'm going to go through some other things to look for to know if you're looking for a guy of value. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Kit, your personal dating mentor, and in today's video, I'm going to give you 5 signs that you are dating a guy of great value. Not just about being valuable for society, but more about a great value for a potential partner. But before we get into that, I always love hearing from you. So come find me on Instagram, drop me a message and let me know, are there any one of these signs that you recognize in a guy that you might be dating right now? Okay, now let's get into the video. So the first really great sign that you're dating a guy of good value is that he is in a good economic position, or he is starting to become into a good economic position. A lot of the time, if you're looking for someone to settle down, you want to know that he's stable. You want to know that he is secure, right? It's not uncommon that for women want to seek stability from a guy, not just for her emotions and her physical safety, but also from the financial responsibilities of the world, right? And even if he isn't there yet, that a guy who is working to do that. If he's there already, then that's great because he's shown that he can get those results. And yes, the whole having a house and having a nice car, this falls into this category. So I thought I'd just get that out of the way first because it's a really obvious one that people can tell. And if he's working to get there, potential is always good to look for. I was having a conversation with a male client and he expressed, oh, why do women look for these things? Does that make them, gold diggers to some extent? And while I understand that as a guy, if a girl cares about, the things that he has, why that can come across as, okay, well, she's just looking for a guy with good financials, right? But then I did explain to him that it's like saying, okay, well, if somebody has a really good body, they train and they eat well, then that obviously shows that they have great self-discipline because you can only get that kind of body if you do have good self-discipline. No, don't get me wrong, there are just some spoiled girls out there who just use daddy's or mummy's money, I guess, to buy these things and kind of portray this aspect of themselves. But to be honest, once you start dating them, you can tell what they're doing in their other aspects of their lives, whether that's actually the case or not. And this does link into the next sign, is that he trains on his body and his mind. This means that he is a man who has standards for himself, which is good because it means he'll have standards for the relationship, and yes, he will have standards for you, which obviously you would want. You don't want a guy who would just choose and commit to any woman. You want a guy who's going to choose a particular kind of woman, and that's going to be you. Somebody who trains in their body and mind, it does show self-discipline, it shows consistency, and it shows a level of intention. Not only that, but it's statistically proven to be better for your mental health, it's definitely better for your physical health, and if you are spiritual, it's better for opening that spiritual part of you so that you can have a connection with someone. Speaking of having standards for oneself, the next sign that you're dating a guy of great value is that he is not afraid to tell you no. Look, nobody wants a yes man, okay? You don't want to have a pushover. If he's a pushover with you, he's going to be a pushover with other people. And then what does that say for your relationship and the life you'll have moving forward? A man who has standards for himself will have standards for the relationship, which means that this is a man you can trust because it means that he is strong in his foundation. He is strong in his ideals and in his principles. And one thing that can tend to happen is we can compromise our standards too much when we're dealing with somebody within a relationship. Now, when you have a relationship with someone, obviously there are going to be compromises you have to make in maybe the logistics of things, or if you are needing something more, then maybe you can expect less and they make an effort to give you more, right? However, when it comes to values and principles, these are things that shouldn't be compromised on. These are things that you should choose somebody who has the similar values and principles as you do. And you want to be able to trust the guy to say no if one time you do step over the line for what his principles are. That's going to be really important to you, because it's all about communication. Because I'm sure, as you should, if he does the same for you, you should communicate that as well. Next thing that shows that you are dating a guy of great value is that he listens to what you have to say. Now, there's a difference between listening to respond and listening to hear. If he is taking you seriously, he's going to be very interested in your mind, in how you think, and in what your intentions are. It's funny because I remember seeing on an episode, I can't remember what it was, it might have been Suits, I know I'm rewatching that recently, but Harvey Specter, the main character, said, if you can get someone to talk, they actually reveal a lot about themselves without you having to try to know. So if he's going to be listening to you, it means he's taking you very seriously. He's seeing if you are the kind of person that he wants to connect with and build something with. And an aspect of being able to know this is how you communicate what you want to say, or in actual things that you actually say. And an aspect of knowing this is listening to what you have to say, not only to see if you're someone that he wants to choose, but also because he's gonna want to get to know you if you are that person. He's gonna want to know the things that are important to you, the things that matter to you, and the things that you want, more importantly. We have one mouth, but two ears, so maybe we should all be able to listen a little bit more, says the guy speaking on YouTube to you. And this next sign that might be hard to swallow, but you're gonna have to hear it, that you're dating a guy of great value, is that he doesn't judge you, but he has standards for you. Now, we have this with our friends, okay? We love our friends, but we have standards for them because we want what is best for them. If they're doing something that could be a detriment to their well-being, then we're gonna say, hey, you shouldn't do that, and you did go wrong here, right? A man of value is going to have standards for the woman that he chooses. However, having those standards isn't about judging you, but it's about maintaining practices, or both maintaining growth in areas that you value so you can have something more fulfilling. Now, when you do start dating someone a bit more seriously, it's really important that you communicate to each other the standards that you have, the lines that you don't want to cross, what you would like from the other person, and what they would like from you. So this is when you're gonna realize this. Not in the beginning stages, but when you start getting more serious. Likewise, he'll be wanting that from you as well. Not to be judging him, but to have standards for him and to hold him to those standards, because the last thing we want is for someone to become the thing that we're no longer attracted to. So when you have standards for your partner, it's saying, hey, this is what I love about you, so I care about you investing in these areas, as well as these are the things I appreciate about you, so I care that you don't do things that could be a detriment to our relationship. Standards, boundaries, and compromises. That's half of what relationships are. If you're looking for a guy who sparks up your love life, make sure you subscribe to this wonderful tribe. And as always, keep it slick. Pow.